Hello, everybody. I am the Complex Man, and this is my channel. So I just recently, not recently, I kind of saw it when the day came out. This video is a little old, so I apologize in advance for that. But I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. Um, it was it was really good. I gotta say that it was really good. All of my expectations were not let down. Um, I I was overall happy. They Chris Pratt got a lot of heat. A lot of people weren't going to be happy about him being the voice of Mario, but he really lived up to it. Charlie Day was really great as Luigi. I did not expect to even. I wouldn't have thought Charlie Day would have been a great voice for Luigi in the first place, but he surprised me. Everybody else was great. The characters great. The only thing that I would probably have to complain about with the casting choices would have to be Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. It's always really hard. I love Seth Rogen and all of the other things that he's been in, like Mantis and Kung Fu Panda. That was a perfect fit. He was hilarious in that role, but I always find him just playing a character. I mean, like Mantis is Seth Rogen, or Seth Rogen is voicing Mantis, or the same thing with Lion King, where he voiced Pumbaa. So it wasn't Seth Rogen trying to play Pumbaa; it was Seth Rogen being Seth Rogen, and it just so happened to be a warthog that he was voicing. You know, there's not too much of change in tone. Like, you could tell there was a difference in Chris Pratt's voice for when he did the commercial sequence with Mario and Luigi did their commercial in the Brooklyn setting. They had the accents at first, but then they played it off really well and segued into it. Like, a lot of other people have touched base on it, that, like, um, being an Italian type family in Brooklyn, eventually you will switch over and the Brooklyn accent would eventually take over. Um, so that would probably be like my only complaint was Seth Rogen. It wasn't bad. It grew on me. I thought they could have done more with all of the voice acting that they did, or sound effects, or whatever you want to call it, for Donkey Kong in, like, Donkey Kong 64. He had that version of, like, a gritty voice. Even in the Donkey Kong animated series, they made him sound almost like, I think it was almost like a surfer, kind of like uh, Australian type esque voiceover. I got to double check on that, but um, maybe I'll add a clip in if I can find one. But yeah, so the voices was good. Peach sounded pretty much spot on. It's like, I don't see how you can screw that up. But overall, yeah, it was definitely acceptable. It was really great to see it on opening day, because all the other fans being there made it that much better. That they understood the references, all the characters that made their appearances. Everyone cheered, and when people finally got the light, the spotlight, then it was cool to see everybody else applaud and show respect for the characters that don't usually get all the attention. um, there are some sequences that I was a little confused on. Like, they kind of missed some opportunities, and I wonder why they didn't go this direction with it in the first place. um, they had Luigi doing an homage to his individual game, Luigi's Mansion, where he was in a dark forest. But oddly enough, they focused more on the Dry Bones character than they did any ghosts. So it's like you're paying an homage to a game that is Luigi dealing with ghosts, and not one ghost, not even a Boo, you know, um, made an appearance not until later on in the movie, but that was only one. So I was a little disappointed on that. Not too disappointed, but it's just like, you missed an opportunity. Could have done a little bit better with that. Um, The thing that I think is going to take up the most time of this review is definitely going to be the strong female type character that they made Peach into. Um, so I was playing Super Mario Brothers when they first came out for the original Nintendo, and I was surprised that all the way up into, I believe, the latest game was Super Mario Odyssey, um, that the pattern or the way the game's plot never changed. So when it first came out, and I want to say the 80s, um, Princess Peach was always the damsel in distress. She was getting kidnapped. Bowser was the antagonist. Luigi became an optional player, I believe. I think in Super Mario Brothers 3. I wanna say it was the third one where he got his debut, but maybe I'm wrong. I think it might have been the Lost Levels because I know the original. I don't think Luigi was in the original, but of course, don't quote me on that. I'm just speculating. But so yeah, the strong female type character. Um, the second that they show Mario and Peach on the screen together, he's running at her, and the second that he reached his hand out, um, I was like, she's gonna flip him, and lo and behold, she flips him on his back, and I was like, face palm. I was like, yeah, aren't they supposed to be love interests? Aren't they supposed to be like a couple? Isn't this supposed to be like love at first sight? I mean, every single time in the games, all the way from the beginning all the way to current, they always had a love interest, between the two of them. So for them to be so like kind of disrespectful to Mario and his character in that way, I was kind of disappointed on that. Also, the sequence where Peach comes in and shows him the um, the first stage, like to his proving grounds or testing grounds that Mario had to go through. Um, that was really cool. I liked what they were doing there. Basically, it was like an homage to everybody's first take or adaptation or introduction with playing Mario for the first time in their lives. I can't speak for everybody. I'm sure there are genius gamers out there that maybe didn't struggle as much as I did, but I died a lot. I died a lot. Almost every new game that came out, there was always that learning curve. So, showing Mario trying to do it, and they briefly show this in the trailer where he's like trying to do this simple course and he just can't do it. He's like failing, he's falling, he's, having to get back up and everything like that. But that's like that homage. Even though it's like you have Super Mario Maker gamers that like do like the Hokaizos and all that kind of stuff. Um, they're they're experts. They know what they are doing. Even they would probably die in occasion. Like um, the the elite Mario Brother gamers, like they even they have their times where they're going to fail at a point. So I understood what they were doing with that, but the whole thing where Peach goes through it to show them how it's done first. She runs through it, she succeeds, and she does her little dress float down. That was a little payoff to like her feature that was in Mario Brothers 2. Um, but then they're sitting there and she's trying to comfort him, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It doesn't happen for everybody." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure. It took you a while. How many times did it take you before you nailed it?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I struggled a lot actually. I couldn't even get it. Blah blah blah." And he's like, "You did it right away." And she's like, "Yeah, I did it right away. But hey, I was born here, and all that kind of stuff. But still, that was." Kind of a slap to the face, for Mario as well, because just because you're born there doesn't mean like you from a baby go into an obstacle course and you can just master it. So that was a little ridiculous in my book. There were other sequences where there's a part where they're in the Mushroom Kingdom and they're just about to start their adventure together, Peach, Mario, and Toad, and they approach the um, the pipe that is going to take them to the next world, and all of the toads of the Mushroom Kingdom are gathered around, and they literally just call out and they ask, "Who's the guy?" Like pointing to Mario. They're like, "Who is he?" And Peach just flat out says, "He is not important." So I was just like, dude, how many more things are you gonna just like mock Mario and just tear him down? Not to mention the um, constant ridicule that Peach throws at Mario because he's so short. So that kind of gave me a little bit of a 2023 dating vibes, where like, women have their height standards and they just couldn't leave that out. They had to like make fun of Mario because he was so short. Hopefully it just ended there and there were no innuendos that was playing tropes too. Um, but for the most part, everything was good. It just at any chance that Peach was on screen, she was just a complete badass, and that was really hard for me to deal with. So, um, I mean, it's I guess it's unavoidable at this point since you can't make a female character be a damsel in distress anymore. They have to be like a complete badass from point A to point Z, So that it I would have appreciated it if maybe they saved that for like the second movie, but somebody did bring out in their individual review that there is a comic strip from the Nintendo Power all the way back from like the 80s where they actually showed Peach being a lot more aggressive and more like outspoken and more of a badass and like actually fighting back and like getting in Bowser's face and yelling at him and all that kind of stuff. So I guess that was a little bit of a tribute to the character development of what we got from the Mario movie. So I guess I can't be completely too harsh on that aspect. Um, but for the most part, yeah, everything was good. I would definitely say this is a movie to go see. If you haven't read any of the reviews, it's all over. People have done other videos, and you can see the comparisons on Rotten Tomatoes. But yeah, it was an all around good experience. Um, I don't want to give any more away. Go see the movie for yourself. Um, but yeah, no, it was absolutely a really good experience, and I was glad to have been able to be a part of it on the opening day to be around with all the other fans. So, just one last thing before I sign off, and that is going to be this is one version of the kind of content that I would be getting out to you guys. This is my first video, so I hope the audio comes across really well, and I hope that the the visuals are good. Um, so if please let me know in the comments. Be gentle about any improvements, any things that you think that I might want to touch base on in future reviews. Everything helps, and I appreciate any kind of forms of criticism or support. But yeah, absolutely, this was a all around really positive experience, and the movie is definitely worth seeing. So please go out there and see it. And I thank you so much for joining me on this review. And please do not forget to subscribe if you liked what you saw. Give it a like, and I will see you in the next video.